Praise the Lord, everyone. I want to share a dream with you all that God gave my son. And I was he was standing in the kitchen with my youngest daughter, and they were talking, and he was trembling, and so I had I noticed that, and I said, and I asked him, I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Dad, God gave me a dream," and he's only 8 years old. So, and he got some paper after he told me the dream and everything. He said, Dad, I'm gonna write down my dreams that God has been giving me." So this is it. Let's flip this page. He say they were all in a red place, you know. Um, well, they were gathered in the place and everything was red, to be more accurate. And he said the people, you know, was except for the people, they wasn't red. So he say all of a sudden Satan appeared up out of the ground, and those little balls are dirt flying everywhere. And he said he appeared suddenly, crashing through the ground. And he said then he stuck his arm out and he swept him and his classroom, all the other kids, in his arms, and like he as though he was taking them. And he said he was saying to himself, "Wait, I don't belong here. I don't belong with you." And then he said how Jesus was standing over there. He was standing over, and he said how he had opened a portal, and all of the Jesus people that belonged to Jesus was going into the portal. And he said Satan, he said it was a division right there, and Satan had his people, had taken his people. And then he said it was like he swept them into like a library, and he had books with pictures in them and everything. And what came to mind when he was telling me this was that, you know, how there's books, the books will be open, and how our life is being recorded. That's what came to mind with him. And he said, oh, back to this, he said his arm was so hot because like he couldn't escape. He couldn't hop over it or anything. It was burning hot where he couldn't touch it. So, but anyway, Satan was reading the books and going through the books. And he said, he must have forgot to put this in here. He said it was two demons that was watching, and they had binoculars. Maybe it's right here, but they had binoculars, and they were watching, making sure none of the kids escaped. And then he said all of a sudden this card appeared in his hand, and it had some of his classmates' name on it, and next to their name, it had what is it? Like a grade or something. And he said like one of the classmates, it said bad. And then he said he flipped the card over and it was clear. And then he flipped it back over and it said Isaiah terrific, or some people say Isaiah terrific. And then he said he took the card. Oh yeah, that's when the demons, yeah, was watching him, trying to make sure. But he said at that moment he was able to, when he got the card, he was able to escape and go over to Jesus. And he held the card up and showed Jesus, and he was smiling. And he said Jesus opened a portal for him. And he said how he was so happy. And he said how he was when he went over to the portal, he saw my two daughters in there, and they were swirling around, talking about some wee, and they were really happy and everything. He said, "Dad, I believe you and Mom were already through on the other side waiting for me." And but he said when he didn't record all of it in here, but I know he mentioned, he said how when he started stepping in, he said, "Dad, when I walked up to it, I just want to explode with happiness. It was just so much joy and excitement." And he said how I asked him how Satan looked. And he said he had big horns, and he began to describe them. Remember, he hadn't drawn this yet. So he said he had big horns and all this, and he was, hideous, scary looking, right? And then, so we end up got to talking and stuff. Then after he told me the dream and everything, I'm sorry, let me back up. That's the problem with not having and not having dreamed it myself. So he say, when he stepped through in the portal and started swirling, he said, then he woke up. But he ended up coming to me afterwards, and he said, Dad, he said, you didn't ask me how Jesus looked. And I said, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, wow. He said, I say, how did he look? He said, Dad, he was beautiful. He said, Dad, he had long hair, like hair. And I say, how long was his hair? I say, where was it? How far did his hair come down to? Because I've heard different stories, so I wanted to see what he was going to say. He said, about his shoulders. And I said, was it straight or curly? He said, oh, it was curly. And then I say, he said, Dad, his eyes were so pretty. And I say, what color was his eyes? And he sat there for a minute. He was thinking. And he say, like mom's, because my wife have them pretty hazel eyes where it flip colors. It'll be green, it'll be light brown, and then sometimes like a bluish green or something. It just, they're beautiful. And so he said, and then he said he had on a white robe, and he said how he had on golden slippers. And he said, Dad, he was so beautiful. And he was just smiling. And he said, I just wanted to explode. He was just so excited describing him and stuff. And I think he said he had like a something blue wrapped around, kind of like one of them, like belts or something. And he said, oh, Dad, he was beautiful though. And he had said some other things, but I can't remember all the details now. So, but I just wanted to share this with you all. I hope y'all are encouraging your children in the Lord, because he's only 8 years old. And here it is. The Lord showed him that Satan took the bad ones with him. And, I don't know how that's going to work out, because a lot of people just say all children go to heaven and everything. But let us be for sure, So God bless. And oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me share this with you. It's really short. We were sitting there watching TV, and it was I can't remember what we was watching, but anyway, that's irrelevant. So, and he dozed off for like a couple minutes, and the Lord showed him a dream. He said how Jesus and Satan was fishing. And he said Jesus was sitting on one side of the dock and Satan was sitting on the other side. And Satan had a basket beside him, but Jesus didn't have one. But they were both fishing in the water, fishing in the sea. And he said, he described them. He said Jesus had his slippers off. And there was some other things he had said. But he said Satan had a basket, though. And it made me think how, like, we want to, when you fish, you want to capture the fish to eat them. That's what I thought about. And you trap them. And it's not a good thing for the fish. But Jesus didn't have no basket, though, because it's freedom in Jesus. That's what I thought about anyway. But anyhow, God bless y'all. Y'all have a blessed one. Bye.